experience. So let's welcome Sandy Rubin.
Short people. I see several faces that I recognize tonight, and I hope to see some of you on Zoom as well. I am very fortunate that this is, I think, counting the Zoom meeting, my fourth time to be able to present to you. And although you'll hear some of the same things you've heard from me before, we have some new things to talk about as well, because as we all know, being in a part of the real estate investment market, things change all the time. So what worked one day, the next day needs to change. What our needs were one day, they're becoming more and more prominent now. People have higher expectations. A lot of that is due to the fact that they're watching HGTV, and people just aren't satisfied with the same things any longer. They're seeing what can be done on these other shows, and now they want the same thing in their own homes. So it makes a bigger demand on the people who are investing in those properties, who are turning them over, and the people who are staging you to help you get more money for that property. So just a little bit of information for people who haven't met me before. I've been in business staging homes for almost 38 years. Most everyone here goes, whoa, staging's only 10 years old. No, we've been doing this for 38 years. This is a concept that I came up with accidentally when I got my real estate license that long ago. And the day that I got my license, I had a request to sell a house. Happened to belong to friends of mine, been on the market for 8 months. They had already moved to their other home and did not put a contingent contract, and they were about to lose one or both of their homes. So they said, you've got your license, Sandy, you sell it for us. Not knowing what to do as a real estate professional, I went over their house and went, yikes, this house looked really small when they lived here. Now that their furniture's gone, it looks worse. It looks even smaller. Everything in the house looked old. The trim on the walls and everything, it made everything look like white bread. Their dining room, where they were able at that time to have not only a dining room table, but a hutch, didn't look big enough to have a table in it. So not having any expectations as a real estate agent yet, other than you sold houses, I didn't have any limits on what I thought it took to sell a house. So I thought, you know, if I painted this room, it would look bigger. If I remove this wallpaper, it's not going to look so old. You know what? If I take some furniture from my house, I bet it will look newer and prettier, and people will like it better. So I started moving furniture from my own home into that house and sold it in 11 days. Same house, I just put a fresh coat of paint on a couple of rooms, peeled off some wallpaper, and staged it and made it look fresh, and it sold in that many days. Now, this house had been on the market for 8 months. Lots of people had seen it back then. We were using the old books to look properties up, but it had been shown so many times because the price point on it was at the very lowest price point. So, you know, there was lots of activity. So people kept seeing this house until it closed, and agents said, where did you get all that furniture? Who did this to the house? Because they'd shown it before. And they go, well, can you stage a house for me? And I'm like, well, I've been sleeping on the floor already for a week. What's another week? Because I didn't understand anything about real estate at that time. Put it in another house that had a backyard that went to the moon, and sold that house in another couple of weeks. Third house, I said, wonder if there is a business opportunity here, because seems like people like this idea that I just kind of stumbled onto. So I decided to go out to the real estate community, find a house to stage, and actually put other furniture in it. Some of my furniture still went over there. I did get the bed back. And not only did I do that, but I sent out over 1,000 invitations to real estate agents with a puzzle piece and said, come look at what we're doing. And, oh, if your puzzle piece fits in this 1,000-piece puzzle, you might win a prize, TV, a trip, and had 30% return on people coming to see my house. Over 300 people came to see it. This is back when we didn't text people. We didn't have a phone to call people. You know, it was just something I sent through the mail, got the real estate list and sent through the mail. So after doing that, starting getting a lot of requests, I thought there's something to this and maybe I should pursue it. Go to our next slide.
Hang on.
So this is just kind of my progression. Started out with the first house that I staged. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to have to buy some things for this business. So went to my house. It was in my garage. It was all over my foyer, under the bed, wherever I could put it, because I didn't have a warehouse or anything. Then I got my first red van, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not using a pickup truck to haul furniture because I literally hauled the furniture myself. We got to the point where we could hire movers and we could use our Hertz rental. And now we have our own truck. We have 5 vans and we have over 60,000 square feet of furniture and accessories that we use that turns out all of the time. So we always are churning our furniture. We're always bringing new inventory in, and you will never have old furniture in your home. So I want to tell you a little bit about statistics, because one of the things I think people think, well, that's just too expensive, and they don't actually know what the numbers are. And honestly, if you go out into the world and you look at RESA, which is the Real Estate Staging Association, what their statistics are, which I think are a little, you have to kind of, you know, these are staging people, can you trust them? I don't know. And you look at the real estate board, okay, we're getting a little closer in there. And then you have the Urban Housing Development Committee. So their numbers are all really quite close together. So this says, what do people expect? That people want to visualize. 82% of people who go through to buy a house want to visualize what that house is going to look like when they buy it. They want to see what they're going to get. They want it to project that new found home that they're hoping to purchase and all of the amenities that come with it. So staging a home helps you to do that, to accomplish that.
Hang on. There we go.
Whoops. Oh, sorry, it's loading, I guess. Is the rest of that on there?
It's the operator.
It's the operator. Okay, it wouldn't be me. So basically, what does this mean? You know, if you're going to put money into staging at home, you want to do it and you want to get a return on your investment. So 75% of people who invested just 1% in staging their homes saw a return of between 5 and 15% over asking price. Now, let me make it clear, these numbers are not as a result of the crazy market that we've had the last 6 months or so. These numbers are actually been produced prior to that time. So I am sure that the numbers we're going to get the next 6 months are going to be way higher. But I consider the last 6 months to be kind of an extreme area of what people are getting. So this is before all the craziness in the market. People who were staging were getting over between 5 and 15%. So if you have a $400,000 listing that you're putting on the market, for about $3,200, you can stage that house. That's 0.8% of the price. You're going to yield, the statistics show that you're going to yield between $20,000 and $60,000 over asking. That's for an initial investment of $3,200. I don't know anyone who would think that was a poor investment. That means you're going to pocket an additional to $56,000, depending on, you know, the market that you're in at that time. So that means that we're not costing your money, we're making you money. Now, during this last market period where we've had extreme sales prices, 15 offers for $200,000 over the asking, and I've had houses that have gone for way more than that. My people who consistently stage through that entire time. And you would think, well, houses are selling, they're flying off the roof. Why should I do that? This is why you do this, because you're building demand. You're showing people what they want to see. You're making that house represent the dreams that they are expecting, that they have built up in the purchase of that home. So who do we market to? We're in, obviously, the St. Louis metro area and Southern Illinois. So if you have properties or do work over that border sometimes between Missouri and Illinois, we're capable of reacting to that market. Who do we work with? Rehabbers, real estate agents, homeowners, home builders. We are one of the leading designers with builders in St. Louis now, which not only do we work with them on staging their displays, we're also making improvements to their floor plans, picking up the colors of their brick, their mortar, every tile that goes into that house, and we offer that expertise to our rehabbers. So what does it take to get us to help you with one of your houses? Call us. There's no charge for us to come out and help you take a look at your house and say, hey, guess what? Let's knock this wall down here. Let's paint this color over there. Let's choose this floor over here. Those are things that we will do for you, and or comment, make suggestions on the things that you're planning on working with if you need that. All of these things are things that we do, and we offer these at no charge if we're going to stage that house for you. So vacant stagings, these are just a lot of the other things that we do, but our client consultation is something that should be of very good interest to you, because sometimes secondhand to see something and to look at a floor plan, maybe you've got one that's kind of quirky and it's like, how am I going to get that dining room in there? You want me to see that before I try to stage the house, not after when there wasn't enough space for it. I can look at your plans. I know the dimensions and things that will work or do not work. I can do all of those things for you, and I'm willing to do that. Again, we do it with no charge. Our staff will do that at no charge. So why not just virtually stage your house instead of staging? Geez, that's only $100 and something to get it virtually staged. Let's look at that. So this is a virtually staged house, and that's the way they're going to see it on the MLS or whatever format that they find it. This is what they get when they get there. This room was very, very small. This is what we did to it. As you can see, we got a lot more furniture in there than what they had. Not only that, we showed them where the television was going to go, because this is the only living room in the entire area. We gave them enough seating to be in that room. We have what we call 5 cushions. 5 cushions is the minimum you ever want to have in a living area for people to sit. If you go down to 4 cushions, we're calling it a study. It's not a living area. It's not large enough for someone to actually entertain in. This is a house, again, this is virtual staging. You notice they put a nice big rug virtually over the carpet. That's what the carpet looked like when they walked into that house and saw it. It was dirty carpet. Now, this is the way it looked like when we staged it. This, what do you look at? You look at the size of the bedroom. You look how comfy the bed is. You look, gosh, there's seating in here. You're seeing all of the things that make you want to live in that house. And okay, maybe you can get the carpet cleaned, or maybe you can buy some new carpet later down the road. We're giving your buyers reasons to buy and not reasons to object. So we have some before and after stagings here, just to give you some ideas of what we do as well. This is a vacant staging that we did in Central West End. This is the way it was advertised prior. This is how we staged it. This is the dining room. This room was just one big room, so it was kind of confusing to people as to what area this was. This is how we show them to use that space. This house, this condo had sat on the market for a very, very long time before they finally decided to stage it. This was a very small property in Kirkwood, also a condo. People who were going through it prior to it being staged didn't think there was a dining room area. Again, just another property. This was an $800,000 house, and everyone said that the great room, this being the great room, was too small. There wasn't enough seating area. Where would they put the television? It was just too small for a house like this. This is the dining kitchen area. As you can see, we were able to get a larger table, 6 chairs at that table, and people bought this house right afterwards. It was on a main street in the county. People in the county don't like main streets very well. This was a rehab that we did. Again, a very, very small, tight space. 5 cushions. The fireplace was off-centered, so part of the challenge was for us to make it look centered into the space. This is the other side of that same room. So the interest takes us from just a little boring square to, wow, I can see myself entertaining here. I can see my friends over here. Look at all the space that there are on these shelves and how pretty that is. Staging highlights the things that you want highlighted and deflects from the things that maybe aren't exactly the way you'd hope they turned out, or the space made it a little more difficult for you to rehab as the way that you thought that it would turn out. Again, this is just a space. They had this beautiful wallpaper in the house. And we just made it simply elegant. This was a very high-end property, also, I believe, in the Central West End, where expectations are high, and just the right few things in that room turned it to something that looks more spectacular and looked higher end. This property was on Clayton Road. It was nearly $2 million, I believe. Had been on the market for quite some time. Again, putting furniture in it, adding color, putting the furniture in the right placement. This is the great room of that same house. So you look at that house and it looked very plain Jane. Can we go back to the previous picture for a second? Looks pretty plain Jane. Although there are beams and there's a nice fireplace, there's nothing that just really makes this room jump out at you. Having the right furniture in there, and I'd like for you to notice when I say right furniture, we don't carry all the same old furniture that you see everybody else carry. If you look at the coffee table that we have there, if you look at the gentleman's chest that we have on either side of the fireplace, our accessories and things that we select are very important to us. They're one of the most important things we do. Anyone can put furniture in there, but the accessories have to complement it. If you think as a woman, you think about going outside and you got your clothes on, but you didn't do your hair and your makeup, that's the way I look most days, but this is what makes the house get that extra people wanting to be interested in it, people wanting to purchase the house, because now they can see potential. They can see this looks like a multi-million-dollar house. Yes, it's on Clayton Road, But this is beautiful. Yes. Everybody wants to buy what we have, okay? They don't want to pay for it though. So yes, we have sold entire homes of furniture, okay? But if for some of us who are a little older, we remember the day that you could go to a real estate sale from a builder and you could buy a couch for a quarter on the dollar. You can't do that in staging any longer. Furniture doesn't have the high markups that it used to have. And if it's something that's truly, truly beautiful, we're still using it. It's still worth the same value that we paid for it. And even though we have purchased that piece for less than what you could buy it on the market, St. Louis is a pretty hard market to sell furniture in. I'm just going to say, as you notice, we have no furniture stores in Missouri. So, but yes, we have sold it. We will entertain selling it. Right now, everybody wants to buy all of our stuff because they can't get it from the stores right now. So, which is a consideration we also have to take into account. I forgot what I was doing. So this is the master bedroom. Again, it has some pretty amenities, but there's nothing that just says I want to jump into this room. This is just elegant. And if you notice, as we've looked at the great room and the hearth room and the master bedroom, you see that we use the same colors throughout, the same style of furniture, the same style of artwork. We actually use artwork that requires to be hung by a nail. Can't be hung by those little things you stick on the wall because our artwork is heavy and requires, because it's more expensive, because it's framed, it has glass. And we find that that expensive artwork contributes to people's expectations and their the way that they view that property as seeing it worth more money because they see what they can have when they move there. May not be on day one, but. So this is a house that honestly was on the market for 3 years. And this woman had seen a property down the street that we had staged, very, very contemporary property that we had staged. That was a $1.1 million property. She was getting ready to put her house back on again and called us up. And she said, you know, I'm at the point I would have bought that property, except that I'm moving to California, the one that we had staged. She said, but I know you're the one to come in and stage this because I think you will sell my house. So she wanted me to come over and look at what she had and tell her why it wasn't selling. This was her dining room. This is what we did afterwards. Her dining room, one of the biggest complaints people had in this house was the dining room was too small. We have 8 chairs in here, including 2 captain's chairs, and it still looks spacious enough. How do we achieve that? Notice how tall our artwork is. The higher you go up with your artwork, the larger the room seems. It also showcases that you have taller ceilings. But even if you have short ceilings, bringing the artwork up makes it feel larger. This was the great room. So it wasn't a huge room, but we were able, again, to put more expensive items in this room to make it feel like, wow, I'd like to be in that room. I could see myself having a glass of wine, entertaining my friends in this room with a fireplace. She listened to us. We said, there's a couple of things in your house you need to change. One of them was that mirror and those sconces. Oh, and that black toilet had to go. So it updated it, it made it feel more new because this house was over 20 years old. This is the kitchen. It was so small. It had this brown granite, okay? If you ever find a steel or brown granite, please don't buy it. And brown ugly tile. what we came in and did, we did not change the tile on the floor, which was the same tile that was the backsplash before. I found a tile for her that incorporated some of the colors from her brown granite, a little bit of the color from her floor. And I want to go back to the previous picture for just a second. Sorry, I've known that. So this was just drywall, okay? And it made the kitchen look cheap and small. This is, all we did here was change handles, change the backsplash, and tile up into that top portion there. And it made a tremendous difference. This is where her table was, and that's where her couch was. We made enough space by using a narrow table for 6 people to have a place to sit, and where she could entertain in the hearth room and have 4 cushions. So these are small rooms, but she had a huge room upstairs, a huge bonus room, loft, as you'd call it. This is where you can go if you want to have your children go someplace to play, because this house was over 6,600 square feet. And there was plenty of space. It just wasn't where we normally expect to see it. That's her bedroom. I don't know why it didn't sell. This is what we changed it to. So again, as you can see, we have the high-end furniture that made people take notice of this house, even though it needed some work done. They could see the potential through the things that we added to it, the furnishings that we added to it. So we have some of you I know are real estate agents and do have clients, and we have some properties that are occupied that under certain circumstances we will also stage. So we've got some before and after. Now, please do not criticize the mess that's in this house, because this client was moving. Typically, when I see a client's house, they're moving and they have everything thrown out on every floor, because this is going to that pile, this is going to this pile, and we're going to keep this over here. So that's just the way my pictures look when I'm doing this. This is how this same house, which they sold for $1.3 million, turned out. We changed the whole look of the room. It's not just a small room any longer. It's now a very functioning room that has both seating in it, a fireplace, a bookcase, and a desk. This was how their dining room looked. It was dark. The chairs didn't match. Just some simple changes. Now, this house was very contemporary, so you'll notice that there is a difference in the style of what we're doing. You don't see as many accessories around, because the lighting fixtures and other things are what are taking the importance, and the scale of things becomes more important. So they had the green slate tile, okay? And green slate tile is another thing that if you find on sale, please don't buy it. It's just not in style now, okay? If you're going to buy a slate, buy the gray slate. That's in style. Black slate is not in style unless you're putting it on a fireplace. So we needed to make that green slate not look like it was there 40 years ago, because this house was built 40 years ago. And that tile has been there that whole time. So by bringing in artwork that brought in all of the colors of the slate, bringing our pillows and our rug to pull that color up, this house sold in one day, multiple offers. In this house? Yes, yes. In live-in houses, I do sometimes request that we paint. In this house, they did not want to paint. Okay, they like their green, and that is not a color that I would normally say is going to be conducive to a lot of buyers. They're going to come in and say, oh, I have to paint. But we did paint the fireplace in here because it was red. This is the way they had this decorated. This was what would normally be the wine area. So we just showed the potential of that area by the things that we staged in there. Now, if you look, you will see we did paint this wall. That is the fireplace wall that had been wrecked. This is their master bedroom, and everybody who saw that window thought it was hideous. We just put a piece of art over it because nobody wants that window there. Again, they're moving. They were not utilizing this area the way that someone who's going to be selling their home or buying a home is going to want to see. So all we really did was make this into a conversation area where they could relax in the evening and look out their window because they had a fabulous backyard. We did paint in here. We painted the cabinets, which were a cherry wood, and they were not in particularly good shape any longer. This is just paint, changing the mirrors, and accessorizing appropriately. This is a house that we did recently in Packland Place. We had them take everything out. They're still living in the house, and we brought our own furniture into the home. This was the dining room. This is a multi-million-dollar home, and this was their dining room. Again, this is how we brought it up to that price point. So I'm hoping that what I'm showing you is that bringing things up, you can bring things up without always having to redo everything, but that furniture can increase the value of your home if it's done appropriately. Cute children's room, cuter children's room. So I'm just going to go through some photos quickly for you, just so that you can see some things that we have done over time. This kitchen had been the big complaint of this house. People thought that it looked too old. All we really did was to stage it and to bring in the island piece, which every time we use this piece, they want to buy. Design work. We do a lot of design for builders. We designed this entire wine bar for this house, but we also designed the entire space the wine bar was in because it wasn't there before. Just how to make a big room not feel so vapid, because rooms can be too large as well. This is a display that we worked on, the tile, all the paint colors, all of the accessories, the tub and the mirrors, lighting fixtures. Those are all things that we selected for this builder that we can also help you with at no charge. This, again, is just one of our builder models. The doors that are on there, that was just a little 6'8" door before, and we had them take it up to 8 feet and add these doors, and told them what color I wanted them to paint them. And this is now a standard way they build this house. This was a staging that we did for one of your members, Melanie, if she's out there listening. This was a tiny little bathroom with a little 3x3 shower. So what we did was take the tile around the entire shower and take it behind the toilet and to the end of the wall. And what that did was to give an image that that wall projected much further and that bathroom was larger, just by where we placed the tile in there. Bathroom's not any larger than it was before, but it felt like it. Just a normal staging. Outdoors, we can do outdoor areas as well. This was a house that we did that was in Clayton. These bookcases were so ugly in this room, and there was no closet. And what we did was just show them how to use the bookcases in a better way, added the bed in there so people could think, oh, I could use that as a closet if I wanted to. Oh, excuse me, as a bedroom, not a closet. And again, this is a house that sold very quickly. I worked with the owner who was in Spain at the time. We did everything over phone in the evening. So wrapping this up, what's different about us than other staging companies other than our work is that we only have one fee and you don't pay us until your house closes. So I'm not asking you for half of the money up front and half of the money on the day I put it in, and half of the money that I'm asking for up front is not refundable because if you're not ready on that day, we don't do that. We work with you. You're not ready on that day, you're going to be ready in a couple of days, we'll manage to get you to that place. But there's one-time fee that you pay us. It doesn't change no matter how long the property is on the market. If your house goes all the way and gets to closing and doesn't close, guess what? You're not going to pay any more money for it to stay there. If we pick that furniture up and on closing day, they don't close through no fault of your own, guess what? We'll put it back in and not charge you. No monthly fees. So at the end of 2 months, which was not that bad for the last 6 months, you know, if you only paid 2 months and people were paying all cash offers, you could probably close a house in 2 months because you're not going through a title company or through a mortgage company or any of those things. So that's probably pretty good, but I'm going to bet you that most houses, by the time you go through it, it's a 3-month process. By the time you get all of your things done that have to be done, your inspections and all of those things, that it's usually about 3 months to get it to close. Now, we haven't experienced that in the last 6 months, but typically, so are you going to start paying rent the first month? No, you don't have to worry about it. You've committed a price. You know what that price is. When you're figuring that in your budget on reselling your house, you know what that number is going to be. It's not going to escalate, and you're not going to end up with nothing in your house if something goes wrong with your deal. So, what if you send me a contract and the day before someone walks in and says, I'm going to buy this house, and you've given me a contract? Just call and tell us. We're happy for you. If you don't need staging, you don't need staging. We're not going to obligate you. You don't have to give us money to get on our board. We're going to work with you because we want to be partners with you. We want to be a friendly partner and not an adversary. So just basically want to say, let's make some money together. Thank you. I will. Yes.
Thank you. Now, your example show a house for $400,000 with a fee of $3,200, so less than 1%. What about if we say $100,000 house? Do you charge 1% or is it still $3,000?
So our minimum price starts at $2,200, and that's because the truck costs what the truck costs to get there. The gas costs what the gas costs, even though we're bringing less furniture. So at $2,200, that is our bare minimum, and we're still going to do the same great job, even though our profit is next to nothing, if nothing, on some of the houses that are lesser expensive. And we offer that just as a service. We're not doing a tit for tat that, okay, you know, we have to make this on this house and this on that house. We consider it a conglomerate that on some houses, we're going to make what we need. On some houses, that's the market and we're going to help out. Does that make sense?
Just wondering about popular colors, the paint colors.
So right now, if you hear people saying gray is out of style, they're wrong. Okay. I was at market in February and everything that was there came in gray. Okay. So gray is still a popular color. Are there other colors that are coming out? Yes. The color that I use most often when I'm not using a gray or grayish color is called accessible beige. So what does it work well with? It works well if your wood floors are kind of yellowy, It works well if your cabinets are red cast. It's a color that kind of takes on what's around it. So I've used this color in a display home before. And about 5 years ago, and people came into the sales office and said, can you give me what color gray is on this wall? And people, they wrote the number down, accessible beige. No, this is a gray color. So sometimes it looks great. And the next person who came in said, what beige color are they using in there? So it's a color that has kind of a mind of its own. When it needs to be a little more gray, it looks a little more gray. When it needs to fit in as a beige, it fits in as beige. And it's one of my most favorite colors. We were into lots of really dark colors and dark accent walls. We've lightened up now. Our color now comes in, not so much our things that are in the house, but the things that are sitting on the things in the house. It's in our artwork, it's in our throw pillows, not so much on your countertops, not on the wall paints. We keep that neutral. And one of the main things that I always tell people that I recommend is that if you're painting, paint one color through the house. Why is that? If you go into a display that's done well, you will see that it's almost always one color through the house. There might be a little bit where it might go up a little bit or down a little bit. We do that because that makes the house feel larger. It makes people feel more comfortable in the house because all of a sudden you have a beige paint and all of a sudden there's a green or there's a blue. Guess what that does? It chops that room up. It makes it feel separate. You've just lost that sense of comfortable that you had walking through the house, and this now becomes a foreign object. Use one color, use it through the house.
I look at HGTV and everything's open concept.
Yes.
Open concept, breaking down walls a lot. I mean,
Yes.
is that still popular?
It is still very, very popular. And we're seeing other spaces being made out of. So let me give you an example. So you have a large space and you're going to open it all up. Sometimes what we're seeing is maybe they'll take a corner of that space and add a little area that could be a nook for homework or something like that. But the family living area is still very much open. We're seeing only one dining area in houses now. What's great about that is when you're rehabbing a house, get rid of that kitchen, that breakfast area, make your kitchen bigger, take that window out, okay? And make that kitchen huge with a huge island. If you don't have an island at certain price points, you can't sell your house. So how do you get that island in there? There's lots of tricks to doing that. And those are things that are very important, but people still want that one big open space, but they're happy with just one dining area now. So you can visualize how that space can be used.
So you said 22 as the base. What does the rest of the pricing structure look like?
It's and the higher it goes, the lower the percentage goes, down to almost 0.5%. We're the only place in the country that's true. Anywhere else in the country, the price is 1% and then a monthly. So we're the cheapest game in the country. So really, really are.
Can you speak to the thresholds there as far as percentages go?
I actually cannot, but I can give you my business card. So if you have a price that you want, we can help you. So a $500,000 house is probably somewhere about 4,200, 4,600 with not knowing how many rooms you want to do. And even that, my staff will probably tell you I'm lying to you. So give us a call or give us your number and we'll call you back and give you that information. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, how many homes are you dealing with? 20, 30, 40?
We stage over 1,000 houses a year. Okay, that's in all different levels. That doesn't mean that I'm putting furniture in every single room in every single house. Some houses, I'm going in and utilizing most of their things and restaging it for them so that it can sell. We do that. We go into houses where some of their furniture is good, some of it is not. And we'll replace that those furnishings and their accessories. Some houses just need accessories, but I'm going to say that we're staging anywhere from 20 to 30 houses a week that we're staging lots and lots of furniture and accessories. So, and then that does not include our builders that we also do. And for all of our builders, we also do their spec homes. So when they build a house over here that's all white and doesn't have any of the features that the model home has, they have us come in and stage that because they know it will sell more quickly if people can see the potential. Don't you want to ask me a question? Oh, are you sure? Okay. Yes, hi. This is one of our good guys.
So I've used them for 11 years, and everybody here knows me, and they know one of my, hi, my name's David, and we meet the group. I do 5 to 10 houses a year. All my renovated houses have sold in 7 days or less, at list price or higher, for 11 years. And it's because it's staged. Even if you get a buyer to buy your house before it's ready and on the market, because we drove down the street, I still stage it because it's got to meet appraisal. And the appraiser needs to see it staged so you can meet that high price they paid you. So keep that in mind. There's no possible situation you don't stage a house. Basically.
Thank you, and that is an excellent point. You still you get that extra money on that house, it still has to appraise. And having to go back to your buyer and your house hasn't appraised, that's just not where you want to be. You know that's a bad situation. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your business. Just say one last thing, if there's nothing else, is that, as I said, I've been doing this for 38 years. I love every minute of it. I love getting in on a project in the beginning when you're starting to rehab and you're starting to formulate the ideas of what you want to do or what's possible to do. I love being in on that part of it. I go as far as you want me to go. I tell you what my opinions are, and hopefully that is a partnership that will enhance your business as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Okay, looks like we're wrapping up a little early, so we got plenty of time. If you haven't already gotten over to our table to look at our education materials we got for sale. Are there any free ones left, or did you clean off the whole free ones? Mike got most of them if you weren't here early enough. But there's still a few items over there. And anybody else who's joined us? We have Chris, who is here for the first time tonight. Okay, great. Glad to have you all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 5. Okay, 5 folks. Oh, and I want to go. I got our Ben back there. Anyway, got some. We started last month with some bringing back our attendance prizes. Don't have the numbers yet, but let's see. How would you like to do these? I just toss them in the direction. Try to hit some of the new folks there. Oh, well, let's see. How about back here? Oh, ceiling. And I can't throw this far. There you go. Okay. No, thank you all for coming tonight. And stick around. We'll still have refreshments there. We got room till 9 o'clock or so. So network and get to know some of the folks that are here for the first time. Welcome them. Thanks for all for coming. We'll see you next month, or we'll see you on Friday, 11 o'clock.